Good evening, class. Good afternoon, class is probably a better thing. I wanted to jump on live today because apparently I made a little stinker in the realm of Facebook ministry and church with my post. Yeah, I get to that in a minute. The show will resume Monday. I had a lot going on. Those of you who follow me, we had a recording that we did recently, and I will talk about that Monday. Um, and it was a host of things that went on. But over the week, it has been like quite a few things that have been posted by my musician friends. What up, Ronisha? How you doing? And my musician friends, I got a lot of musicians that I follow. And on my timeline, for some reason, my algorithm shows me either jokes or funny situations, but sometimes it shows me, musician posts and everything else. And so I try to read them with an open mind and objectively, and I try to put myself in their place. Everybody is allowed to express themselves the way that they want to on their page. And I am usually, if it's something that doesn't interest me, if I don't feel like engaging, I just keep scrolling. And, that's just me, how I do it. But for some reason, I have been seeing a lot of musicians talking about this money thing and, people getting paid to play at church or whatever. And because of that and other things I have been seeing, I decided to post something that has been on my mind and something that I've been thinking a lot about, and based off of what I have been seeing, is like other people have been feeling it too. Now you got to understand that the holidays are not the same for everybody. Okay, there are actually people who do not celebrate Thanksgiving. You may not know this, but I don't really celebrate it, for a host of reasons. And I won't get into it today. It's not because I'm like this, super deep person. It's just I have my personal beliefs. And I probably will share them at another day, but not today. So you can't say, oh, he woke up on Thanksgiving and decided to do this. You don't know me. So you speaking foolishly when you speak about somebody you haven't had a conversation with, and you automatically decide that you can dictate what they should and should not be doing. As believers, we're not supposed to castigate people for what they celebrate and not. But apparently, some people did not get that message. So they decided to go at me and say, "Oh, this is what he thinking about Thanksgiving." No, you're thinking about food. This is what I saw. This is what, and just because it's a holiday, like I said, some people actually have really, really tough times during holidays. Some people have lost loved ones, and this is the time where those loved ones usually come around and everybody celebrates together. So you can't use Thanksgiving as a reason for somebody to have reflection. Usually that's the time you really do reflect. You start to think of the stuff that you go through and the stuff that you may have been through or others have been through, and you say, I'm thankful that we came out of this, or that we're still here, or that my people are healthy, or if they're not, they're yet fighting, they're still here. So these times are the times for reflection. I think sometimes we, as church people, we think people should move in the way that we move or the way we think they should move. And that right there is part of the problem. Everybody's not like you. Some people have things that they deal with. So I don't know why we get here. It's like I can get more love and attention and respect from everybody else that I don't see on Sunday. Because with some of you, the only thing we're going to get is some harsh words. And you call it ministry. And it's not actually, you're actually damaging people. It's kind of hot in here, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of I haven't used these in a while. And this one right here, I need to it's a regular light and it's killing me right now. So if you see me wiping it, it's not because I'm emotional and I'm cheery and nothing like that. It's just that it's a little hot in here. So anyway, I saw a couple of posts and I wanted to what's up, Jabril? I'm gonna hit you back in a second, man. I thank you so much. This guy always encourages me. He does. He prays for me, he sends me prayer messages. Nothing crazy, y'all. This man is genuine. Y'all be I know how y'all think. But he sends me messages, and I really appreciate that, man. Some of your messages get me through, some of your prayers, and I really appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. But anyway, I saw this post. And this post kind of freaked me out. This post kind of freaked me out because he went down a laundry list of stuff that musicians should be doing in church and what they should be paid to do. And I kind of was like, wait, what's going on? He said the church is not a gig. And see, when I say the church, I'm using your words. I'll use your words against you. That's how I operate. You say the church. I don't say the church. You say it. But anyway, he said church is not a gig. Okay. It's really getting old. Y'all usually demand the most pay, but only willing to, I think he left out a word, minimal work, crazy work. And then he goes on and says, you're not getting paid. You're getting paid to worship. No, we're not. We're not getting paid to worship. We're getting paid to render a service. I really hate when we conflate business and church, or what you would call ministry. We're going to get to that. But we should not conflate the two, because in ministry, you would think there are no contracts. One would think if I'm doing ministry, there are no contracts, because in ministry, we all should have integrity. So there would be no need for a contract. Your word is your word. What you say you would do, you do. But unfortunately, today we need contracts. So in my contract, it does not say I'm paid to worship. You don't get, what are you talking about? Then you say, too, you're getting paid to support the music ministry. I don't even know what that means. You're getting paid to support the music ministry. If somebody in the comment section can please tell me what that means. Who is Test? Why are you, hold on. I don't know who you are, sir. Somebody's testing. Okay, thank you for trying to test. Appreciate that. Not knocking you. I just don't know who you are. You got to say your name. Anyway, so you're not paid to support ministry. I don't know what that means. Then third, it says you are getting paid to listen to the sermon. No, we're not. We're getting paid to support if music is needed. That's what you're being paid for. This is what you notably are negotiating before you sit at the bench or wherever you at, the drum set or whatever, at the station. You're getting paid to come to rehearsal and be prepared. I don't really have a problem with this one, because you are. That should be in your contract, to come to rehearsal and be prepared. Some of us just mosey on by that. Some of us, we mosey on by that, and it's possibly because you're allowed to do so, which is a whole nother lie within itself. But you are paid for that. You're paid for call times, only if it's in the contract. If you agree to being there X amount of minutes earlier, then you should do that, if that's what you agreed to do. It's really that simple. A lot of this stuff is just you agreeing. It really is. And then it says you're paid for dress code. No, you're not. Now, y'all have seen my lives. You know how I feel about this. But even with that, something has to be said beforehand or even in passing, that this is the way we do here. We don't XYZ. We don't wear hats. We don't do this. We wear suits. That should be expressed before the musician starts. But I always say, as musicians, we should be able to read the room. We can't go into a church and just dictate how they should do business. If they don't want you to wear hats, maybe you should ask. Say, hey, is it okay that I wear hats? Is it okay that I wear hats? I mean, I'm always saying that. I always do that. Well, really, because of how I was raised, I don't assume. I automatically go into church looking decent. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to wear something that's decent. I may not wear a hat. I don't wear hats anyway, but even if I'm wearing a hat, if, like, say for instance, snowing, like right now it's really snowing, if I wear a hat, I'm still going to take it off when I get to church, the second I enter a building. That's the way I was raised. You know, some of you haven't been raised like that, and you wear your hat all up in the building. I don't knock you until it's time for church where I serve. You know, we don't wear hats during service. I let you wear it during rehearsal, but not during service. We're not doing that. You know, that's the standard. You either, as a musician, as a professional, you roll with the standard. You don't go in there and try to make waves. That's not how you do business. But it still should be expressed beforehand. I think that's a practice. I think we need to start interviewing people. I think we need to start doing background checks on musicians. I do. That would alleviate a lot of issues we have. A lot. But we don't do that. I get it. Because we're more interested in skill. We're going to get there. Janetta says, I haven't had a job outside of church that required me to wear a uniform, make me pay for it. Every other gig paid me to wear something or reimburse me. I get it. And that's the thing. I get it. I really do understand that. And really, it's really difficult for those of us who are in leadership position. We try to understand that, which is why sometimes I say, hey, you can wear sneakers today or you can wear whatever. And I kind of try to put some things that they may have on there. But having said that, if you are a professional musician at this point, especially at church, it's things you should have. A black suit, a black outfit, all black. You know what I'm saying? You should have that. I think every professional musician needs a black suit. You do. Because you're going to play a gig one day, whether it's a church or whatever, and make no mistake about it. Church, when you are paid, the word is, some people say it is a gig. We can't get offended for people who saying that. We can't get offended when people say what they think it is. I'm going to the gig. They working, they getting paid. They rendering service. Why are we upset about that? I'm never upset about musician, that say it's a gig. We're going to get to the other part, my post in a minute. But I don't get offended when they say that. I don't get offended when they say that. I don't get offended when musicians say, I'm going, man, it's just a job. I don't get offended. I don't. Because they got hired. And to be honest with you, as a professional, as long as you showing up, doing what you're supposed to be doing, I can't knock you. I can't knock you for how you feel. That's not, to be honest with you, that's not even my job. I didn't hire you. My job is to manage and make sure you where you're supposed to be to best of my ability. Any other commitment made prior to them sending the music late? Man, we don't even want to get on that. We don't even want to get on that. I think that's like the standard for most churches. We get our music ahead of time. Thank you, Shelley. We get our music ahead of time. But there are times I'm waking up in the morning at 4 a.m. and I'm looking and I get a text message saying, learn this for today. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Now, most of the time it's AB or ABC. But it's still, I think a practice should be, we should get the music ahead of time. I think that's you going into my Monday, Greg. You're going into my Monday. But now the last one says you're getting paid not to smell like weed, not smell like, I don't know what's going on with the words missing. Not smell like weed, must, and dirty clothes. Now this one, y'all know how I feel about this one. I feel about number 7 very strongly. I don't understand how grown aspiration men can wake up out of the bed and look and smell like you just worked a midnight shift at a dookie plant. I just don't understand that. I hate it. But even still, pig pen and all, they are not paid. They still gonna get paid if they show up and render service. Those are other disciplinary things that you need to deal with when they come in unacceptably. Those are other things. But even still, a lot of stuff, when you post stuff like this, it brings negative attention because it's more excoriating. You are paid to show up. You are paid to render a service. And they say it's ministry. They say it's ministry. Well, it's ministry. It's ministry. And they always, this musicians getting paid thing, it's been going on since I was a shorty. And it's almost like, why are we still arguing this thing even in 2025? Because I don't care if I wake up every morning in the world and say, oh, I want to minister. Guess what? The thing about ministry that y'all don't understand, just because it's ministry doesn't mean I don't have bills. And it doesn't mean I have to be disrespected. It doesn't mean that my time is not valuable. And my gift is free labor. That's not what ministry is. And I think growing up the way I grew up, they thought that ministry mean you do this for free. Because nobody's waking up one morning. Can you imagine a bass player, because that's what I play, wakes up one morning and says, oh, I don't never play the bass in his life. Never touched the bass, don't have 7 behind them and one in the living room and others in storage and the other one my niece learning on. Don't have these basses. Don't got this many basses. No, not one bass. Show up to church, never touch the bass, and then automatically start playing like Victor Wooten on steroids, just going crazy and in church. Then you could probably say, oh my God, that's a miracle. God gave him that gift. Then you could say that. We are calling talents gifts. We are calling abilities gifts. You can call it a gift, but a lot of this stuff you were born with, and then some you didn't even know what it was. You just learned it. Gifts are not learned. They're given. You have it whether you want it or not. Spiritual gifts, you don't earn them. They are given to you. So we call in playing a bass. You can say, Derek, you're very gifted, but Derek had to learn how to play. Derek did not know how to play the bass. I picked up my uncle's bass and started plucking upside down. He turned it upside down. I still didn't make a note. I didn't know what I was doing. If it was truly a gift, when I picked it up, I should have been able to play something right away, but I could not. Y'all are conflating something, and it's not the same. Work, effort, practice, and sometimes money had to go into me making bass playing a thing. I had to be dedicated to learn it. It took refining, maturing. It took practice, years, decades of practicing. I just practiced this morning. I practice every day. So you can't say, Derek, you're gifted. I'm Derek. I'm not gifted. I learned how to play the bass. My ability to learn helped me learn it quickly and progress, but I still don't have a gift to play bass. I have a talent to play bass. I have ability to play bass, and that ability didn't get to this level by me just laying up at home and some spirit came up on me. Not to say that it won't happen or it can't, but that's not my case, and it's not the case for 99.99999 musicians. All of us, almost all of us, sat in an instrument and had to learn it. I don't know not one musician that sat in an instrument and it was at an elite level already. But those spiritual gifts, they saw it instantaneously. It was endowed into them with no learning, nothing. Paul was amazed at them because he was learned. He was learned. I'm not saying gifts can't be cultivated and refined, because you need to know what you're doing with the gift. But I'm saying playing music is not one of those things. No. You can, and there is no scripture to even support it, that you could be born with a gift to play an instrument as a gift. And so when I left my post, let me get to what happened. So I left a post after seeing a few things that was posted and personal things in my life, everything. And I looked back and reflected and looked back and looked at the other stuff, and my wife can attest to it. I had left a couple of things. Like I said, holidays for some people is time of reflection. You reflect when you are thankful. By the way, you think of things that happen. But some people, they reflect differently. They look at things, and some things they share. I don't really share that much. But when I do, it's usually something. And y'all got to know me. I'm methodical. I don't just say stuff. When I put it out there, I'm very strategic on why I placed it. So when I put this up here, it started an uproar, and it even made it to the Black Surfers round. I'm going to get on him in a minute. I'm going to get on them in a minute. I said, truth is, many musicians play for the money only because the church, quote unquote church, has killed their willingness to do ministry. If you take a gander over my, what is it? It's really my right shoulder, but you're seeing it as my left. You will see I say welcome to fourth grade English because there's a word that I use that some of you just mosey on by. I don't understand us as people where we're so quick to run our mouth or fingers without even taking time to even read what somebody posted. This is a very easy thing to say. And it's a reality for many musicians. There are two words we're going to deal with: many and willingness. The two words that I want you to write down in your notepad. Because obviously when you went to school, you was too busy doing something else to understand the words many and willingness. Those are two different words that I said, many and willingness. I think I'm going to put this off to the side so it can stay up. Pause. I want this to stay up so y'all can see what I'm talking about. I want to kind of make it smaller, but I don't want it to be so small that people who wear glasses cannot see what's going on. I'm going to go here with y'all today. And I want y'all to look at this as not a rebuke, but it's a redirection. Because far too many times when somebody says something, we ain't got to go too far for y'all to start bapping your lips about it. And I ain't even talking about the people in the world. I'm talking about people right at home. Because if this was about me and how I was feeling, instead of you trying to excoriate me or try to say it's cap or everything, where was the inboxes saying, D, are you okay? Not one message from none of you people that said, D, are you okay? Which is precisely the issue. Not one. Now, this ain't about me. This post was just how I was reading and I started to reflect and I said this thing. This ain't about me. But if it was, you didn't know. In my comment section, some of y'all, in other posts, people sharing it, saying they little slick stuff. What is wrong with you people? If I was really on the edge, I didn't have to go too far to jump from you. Which is precisely the issue. It's quiet in Zion because you're so quick to talk and not listen. I said many. I didn't say half. I didn't say most. I didn't say all. I said many. There are many musicians who play in church just for the money, whether it's $50 or anywhere. I didn't even say church. I just say play only for the money. They have no passion to play because, contrary to popular belief, you can touch people outside of the four walls of your storefront. You can touch people outside of that. Outside of your mega ministry, you can touch people. I've touched people playing in places that you would never even believe. And they be like, man, listen to you play, man, that was great, man. It really did me good tonight. But what happens if this person is not feeling the willingness to even want to do that anymore because of the stuff that they've experienced? What happens? And the word many, it messed y'all up. Many is not most. I know how to use my words. I'm educated. I didn't say most. I didn't say half. I could have said some, but I said many because for me, one is too many. If you got one musician that feels like he does it, he just playing, he just here, that's a problem. Because we have to share and minister with this person who may need help. And I got people who say, oh, go see therapy. When you've never been. You on your third marriage and your fifth child with no wife, but you telling somebody else to go see therapy? It's always the hypocritical ones. Go seek therapy. You've never been. You've never been. Here you dealing with trauma. You ain't have a daddy or your daddy beat your aspiration every other day for no reason, but you're telling somebody else to go to therapy. I can read your statuses and how you talk and see that you need therapy, but y'all quick to say, y'all need therapy. And I would agree. I'm never against therapy. We do need therapy. I say it all the time. My wife can attest to it. My friends can attest to it. I say musicians in church, we need a therapist to sit right up on that front row because a lot of us deal with a lot of stuff every week. And the stuff stems from what we experience on Sunday. And so I saw a post, and I saw it today. I saw it today. And he meant well. I'm not going to rip him up to shreds. I need to hide this for a second. I'm going to come back to that. It says before anyone steps into ministry, they need to recognize why they do it. The Bible doesn't promise riches or pay for doing the will of God. Actually, you're wrong. It's in Corinthians. You're wrong. But anyway, if you are called to be in ministry or service to God, the only thing is promised that God will make a way for that to happen. And where is that found? Please help me. Don't get scripture twisted. A lot of time ministry is a thankless job. I agree. Jesus showed his disciple when he washed their feet. I get that. That last part is troubling to me because Jesus, everybody knew who he was. I think that was showing the significance of being in ministry and showing how you're willing to be humble and everything else. But let me say this. Unfortunately, in the Black church, the time that they see your skill, you are automatically placed in that position. We don't have time to even think about why we do it because a lot of us are playing on our instruments when we're 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We don't even know we don't even know nothing, but you've already been put in this position, which let y'all tell it is probably one of the most spiritually combating things that you can do. And I would agree. But we're putting kids in that position from a young age, not because they're anointed, not because they can make things happen and supernatural things happen. You got angels floating around your church. No, but because they are talented, because they have skill. So we need to do this before you step into ministry, but it rarely even happens. We see skill, we put you there. We see skill, you automatically there. We see skill, we putting you in leadership. We see skill, and now we putting our whole ministry on you. Skill seems to trump everything else in our church. And that's an issue. It trumps everything. So whereas I agree with you, I wish that was my testimony. I was 13, 12, 13. They didn't care. He's great. Oh my God, he's so good at 16, 15 actually. I was really playing. Oh my God. Automatically playing church services, automatically playing choirs, everything else at 15 years old. Mentally, do you think I was ready for that? No, because I had a whole lot of other stuff going on in this brain of mine. But nobody cared because you had skill. Let me put my post back up there. No, before I do that, this word is messing y'all up. Should I go there? I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna put my post back up there. So I'm looking at that and I'm reading some of your comments and I'm like, okay, y'all missing this. Y'all are missing it. And I said it in some instances, you missed it. I said many musicians play for the money only because the church has killed their willingness. Now, when I say the church, y'all know dang well what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the overall body of believers. That's what I call the church. I put it in quotes because that's what you call it. I'm quoting you. Not me. Y'all know good and dang on well because some of y'all be like, come to my church. We know what that mean. We come to my assembly. We mean in your house. It's a group of y'all somewhere. No, you mean come to your building where you going to be plastered everywhere. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying that's bad, but we know this is the modern church. When we come to your church, we're going to see you. We're going to see you. We're going to see you. That's marketing. I get it. I understand marketing. I really do. So I'm not knocking that. But make no mistake about it. When you say church, we thinking your building at said address. So a lot of these churches, a lot of musicians, not all, not half, But a lot of musicians suffer from things that happen in church that kill their willingness to want to minister. What is ministry? If I ask 10 people right now, what is ministry as it relates to musicians? And I'm going to get 10 different answers. And I'm used to it because some of you still running around here talking about my gift made room for me. When that's not what that scripture mean in 2025 with all this information. You mean to tell me you still saying that? I'm not saying it's not true, but nobody cares about your ability to play. They don't care. You are entertainment. And after they're done with you, they're going to wipe you off the same way they do in the toilet. You're going to go flush, you're going to spin around and go down in the dirt with everybody else. They don't care about your talent. That's the best you got? No, that gift wasn't talking about that. You need to go back and really, really research that. But you're still saying it. I get it, because it's the same thing if I ask what the anointing is. I'm going to have 10 different records of people saying what it is. But nobody can definitively tell me what it means for a musician to minister. I'm going to hear a lot of answers. And now here's the thing. I'm not even knocking you for it, but it still doesn't change the fact that it exists. When nobody can tell you clearly what that means for a musician. You here to do ministry. What does that mean? They can kind of guess at it, but they really don't know. I did a little research, and I kind of gathered a lot of things. You probably could run this research yourself if you really cared that much, since you're on my page trying to go at me. You don't care, because if you did, like I said, my inbox would have been flooded. Y'all never know what's going on in somebody's mind while you coming on their page, trying to rip them to shreds, saying it's cap, saying all this other crazy stuff, Christians. Your job is that was the perfect time to minister, but that's not what you chose to do, which is indicative of this post right here. Your first inclination is to attack, not to surround and build and edify. Your first inclination is to be right. That's your first inclination, because everything is about you. That's why y'all say personal relationship with God, because everything is about you, not the body. You. You wasn't expecting this, and I wasn't even in the mood to preach. But you got me today. So what is ministry? What does it really mean? I posted some stuff. I'm going to post some stuff. We can go through them. Let me move. Okay, here's the purpose of being in ministry. To create a space for people to encounter God, to support the message of the word. Support. Get that support. Not listen, back earlier. Support. That's a whole other thing. To usher in unity and focus. To help people worship without distraction. These are core principles of a musician in ministry. But what happens when you don't have the desire to do that because what has happened to you at said church? That's all I was saying. There are many musicians who serve, who give and do this stuff. But how difficult is it for you to do this stuff when you are damaged and you don't have the willingness, which means desire, according to Cambridge Dictionary? Let me pull this up a little bigger, because some of y'all, you can't see, on top of the fact that you can't read or listen. It's the quality of being happy to do something that is needed. Desire. Inclination. It's like you're happy, you're joyous to do this stuff. That's what willingness means. When I said willingness, I knew exactly what I was saying. And somebody gonna get on here and try to excoriate me, as y'all do, because that's what you love to do. If you really had a relationship with God, this wouldn't be a thing. Let me mess up your whole world real quick. It takes a special relationship with God to serve and give your talents and stuff like that, to do everything that I listed when you don't really want to. When you have no desire to do it, but you press and you still do it because you know that's what's needed. That's what I mean. when you have you don't have the desire to do it. You just do it for the money. But you still do it. You still show up because here's the thing. Y'all think these musicians making a lot of money? No, they don't. They make probably 150, 200. They're not really making no money. But they just come and they show up because they have no willingness. They have a desire. These musicians that I'm talking about here, they have no desire. They have no desire to do none of that. It's been sucked, pause, out of them. So what would make a musician be in this place? Constantly being lied to, being abused. I posted numerous videos about musicians being abused, being mistreated, unappreciated. Everybody needs appreciation. That's some people's actual love language is appreciation, affirmation. This is things that actually keep them going. Nobody wants to continue to do things when you expect them to do stuff and you don't even say thank you. How do you look? You give me that $150 and it won't even pay a bill. You can't even pay a cell phone bill no more with $150. So for those of you saying they doing it for the money, no, they not. It's really some of them just do it for the money because that's the only thing they getting from it. Read between the lines. Where did you go to college? Did you go to school? Oh, my bad. We're in 4th grade class right now. Oh, wait. We're in 4th grade class right now. Because that's how you think, like a 4th grader. Because mature adults can understand this stuff goes on. And instead of directly attacking the musicians, you would say, what do we need to improve so this does not happen? But that's not your mode. Your mode is to be defensive and ready to fight instead of saying, let's understand, let's come together, and let's reason. That's why we suffer in silence. We just continue to come. Our pause, and in our mind, this 150, I'm finna go take my wife out for dinner or whatever, go to the movies. A lot of them don't even need that. The ones that I'm talking about, they probably don't even need that money like that. It's probably just whatever. And they probably so used to and programmed to going to church and playing, this is just what they do. That's a reality. So why are you bucking that? Like I said, some of you got something going on up here where everything is a challenge to you, where you just need to just be right and just go off all the time. Calm down. The post is very easy to understand. Just because it's not where you at doesn't mean it ain't a lot of musicians like that. When you got musicians that they hear you doing something, you preaching one thing and you doing something totally different, y'all ideologies don't align, you preaching something that you know ain't scripture, and some of these musicians actually do read the Bible, they have no willingness. You serve no purpose to them outside of just a check. And that's a horrible place to be in as a musician. It is. Because we do carry a lot of the weight of the Black church experience. I'm trying to read some of your comments. I'm sorry. When you said, and those churches think that $150 is too much. Right. This is because what we do requires 90% of the work outside of the public eye. Right. They think they are only paying you for that 2-3 hours you're there, not realizing there was extra hours outside of the service that they put in. Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes as a musician, not all the time, but I think we turned it into entertainment more so than it is actual ministry. And the sad part about it is where I look side-eye at some of my musician constituents, I look side-eye at them, I really believe we ain't that dumb to not know the difference between you entertaining and something else. I think we know that. Let me see what she's saying. Well, Prentice, whatever happened for playing for love and enjoying your gift, I established that it's not a gift already. And offered up in worship, in what way? Are you saying we should do it for free, sir? Or ma'am, I'm not, I can't see your picture, so I don't know. I think you are, sir. Because if you're saying we should do it for free, then absolutely not. I'm gonna read the rest of your comment before. People like Tony Roaster, Taylor Campbell was a master their craft through proper business practice, right? But they don't necessarily play church all the time either. I mean, to be honest, yeah, I haven't never seen Teddy Campbell play in church. I know he did. I said I've never seen him play in church. Every time I've seen him, it was always on some clip playing somewhere else that wasn't a church. And that's not knocking him. But you got to keep in mind, Prentice, some people don't even want you to play in those other places. They think that when you play your instrument, it should only be used to play in church, and then we're not going to pay you for that. There are some churches like that. How do we combat that? That think you supposed to use this quote unquote gift to just play at church. That's it. You can't play nowhere else. No, you can't go on tour. You can't play for no secular artists. Some of them don't even want you playing for even gospel artists. You only can use that for that church. I think that that's so horrible. I think that that's horrible. But let me finish up here. Ministry includes a lot of things, y'all. And those musicians who are watching it, this is what it includes. It includes your time in rehearsal, time preparing spiritually, time practicing to be excellent, showing up consistently, being dependable, being adaptable, and serving beyond the instrument when needed. These are all things that people would consider to be ministry. I don't consider time in rehearsal to be ministry. I think that's part of your contract, but some people would say it is. All the rest of them, time practicing, I think that can go both ways, I guess. An argument can be made for both sides. But the last one did catch me. Serving beyond the instrument when needed. That last one did catch me because I did do that. I did. I'm going to go back. I once played for a church that only paid me like $150 a week for 2 services a week. I played 2 services and a rehearsal and made $150 a week. And they paid me every other week, took taxes out and tithes. So I didn't even make I didn't even make 300. I think I was bringing home probably like 233, 225. The hours. And I would come to that church program, go above beyond when he went to his engagements. We never got paid extra for engagements or nothing like that. But when it really came down to it, what they called ministry was only one lane for me to serve them, for me to build that thing up. But when it really came down to it, they didn't really care about me. They didn't. Nope. When they felt like I served no purpose no more, they was quick to let me go. I survived. I moved on. But how many musicians can honestly say that didn't make them be like, I'm done with it. I don't want to play at church. If they pay me the right money, I'm going to come and play. I'm not going to do none of that. Have I ever been that person gung-ho? I don't think I ever got to that. That's the crazy thing. I don't think I ever got to that level since then. I don't think I ever got to that level where I was actually there every time the doors of the church was open. I was there helping clean it. I was there doing a lot of stuff for that church. Really. I was there. I stuck it out when they put us on furlough. I stuck it out. I remember these days just like yesterday. I stuck it out. Nobody else getting paid. One of the musicians, he was up. Me and the drummer, we stayed. That was a rough moment for us as musicians because this was the first church that I ever played for that I got paid from. And so one could say that, yeah, they took advantage of me. They did. I don't think I was ever that gung-ho since then. That's crazy now that I'm thinking about it. I never was that gung-ho. So that's why this post, when I saw people going through this stuff, that's why it related to me. Because I was there where I was like, man, You don't feel like doing that. But that's the thing. They still show up. They still do the best they can. They still go above and beyond. Some musicians do play, and the money is the only reason. But there are some musicians out here. They still serve even though they don't want to. They have no desire to do it because they are damaged. Do they need therapy? Absolutely. But all of us need therapy at this point, especially now. All of us. Therapists should probably be the #1 paid field in the world right now. It should be. But yeah. So for those of you who had something to say, you should understand clearly now. I know this is, probably above your area of understanding, but now you should understand a little bit more what I meant. And it doesn't mean that they don't have a relationship with God. It means that people, they get there. And we, as church people, a lot of us play a part in that. How we go about doing business, how we treat them, people just get tired of it. They get tired. People leave church. People, that happens, even with musicians. It happens. People got a breaking point where they like, none of this is serving me at all. I mean, none of it serve. I mean, all of us can play bumps at this point, which I don't understand this whole thing. Like, I'm literally seeing, I'm bearing, but I'm gonna come back. I'm looking and I'm like, is this all we become? It's just bump? Like, we don't even practice songs no more. Everything is, I don't understand that. What does your future being a musician look like 5 years and 5 10s no longer, even longer now, being 60 or 70-year-old musician? I mean, I love playing, so I'm gonna play till my fingers fall off. I may not be doing this, but I'm gonna be playing. I love playing bass. That's just what I love doing. I don't care if I go live. I'm gonna be 80 years old. I'm gonna be like Ron Carter. I'm gonna still be up here playing. I ain't gonna be probably gigging, of course not. But I love to play bass. So what does mine look like? I don't know. I'm gonna be playing bass. I'm not gonna be ripping and running up and down the street like that. No, but I'm gonna be playing bass. I love playing bass. So yeah, I'll be doing it. I ain't never gonna hang that thing up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I ain't gonna be gigging, but I'm definitely gonna be playing. So let me read this. I'm gonna be honest in the sense that they are interchangeable. Everybody thinks ministry has to be people bucking and shouting and sobbing and a posture of hands lifted, right? Man, I was just talking to my friend about this today. But if entertainment can't be ministry, then we should never have Christian comedians, correct? Entertainment can and does lift people's spirits. I agree. People never stop to consider that the band flips a song with an R&B groove. That will never happen with us. We gonna get toe up, but I get it. Or somebody on the mic says something that makes everybody laugh, that it could be often does lighten the mood. I can't see this glares over here. Load people came in with and possibly stop them from making a rash decision whether they. I agree. This is actually pretty good. I wish I could pin that. Y'all need to like this comment that Greg said. I agree. I agree. And that's why I just wanted to just jump on and make sure we was clear. Because one thing I don't like that we jump to conclusions, and we do that all the time. We jump to conclusions too much for me. Ask a question, people. Never be scared to ask a question. Now, on my posts, I'm always open for dialogue. I am. You can always say, hey, D, what does this mean? Hey, does this mean this? Does this mean that? But one thing we need to stop doing is what about isms? I wasn't talking about preachers in this. I like to stay on focus. One of the things they taught me in my master's class is when you have a subject, stay there. Don't veer. Stay there. I like to stay on topic. We can get on preachers making money and get paid. We can do all that, but that's not what this is about. Let's stay on topic. Okay, we can talk about the things that musicians do. We can do that, but let's stay on topic. We got enough. Let's just stay on topic, people. We like children sometimes. We just, calm down, little Cedric. Stay here. We call it redirecting childcare. Stay here. Stay here. And when I say entertainment, y'all, let me explain that real quick. When I say entertainment, I'm not saying entertainment can't be ministry. It can. It absolutely can help people. But sometimes when we come in church, you are excoriated for people saying, "Oh, it's not entertainment. It should be the spirit." That's what I mean. And so for us, we know the difference when it's entertainment and when it's ministry or the anointing or whatever, it's move of God. We know the difference. So don't try to play that game with us. We know what you're trying to force on us is to do the entertainment thing, but you're calling it something else. You know, you are calling it something else and excoriating us for saying it's entertainment. Be real and say it's entertainment. Just say it. It's entertainment. We're having fun. And I'm okay with that. I love it. Trust me, I'm okay. Let's call it what it is. It's those of us who want to have supernatural, oh God, we are here in your presence. We're here. The lights are flickering. The smoke is going. And we want to worship you in darkness. We know that's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? You would think that, no, that's Star Wars. We know what this is. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it's keeping it, and that's a whole nother live, Brent. That's a whole nother live. Like, we have to do so much to keep people attention. That's why music is so important. Because if musicians wasn't important, have a whole service with no music. Have a whole month of service with no music. Let me see how that works for you. Let me see how that works. I'm almost guaranteeing you gonna suffer. It's gonna be, your people gonna be looking at you like, I'm telling you, they gonna be like, for real. They gonna be like, nah, bro, we don't want to have no church with that. They ain't gonna want to have no church. Nobody, black church is music. We like to jump. We like to shout. We like to do all of that. But you got to pay attention to your musician staff, y'all. Don't just ignore musicians who have issues, who are dealing with a lot. A lot of us carry a lot of weight. And some of our churches are the reason. The politics, the toxic stuff that you allow, this poor leadership, bad abuse. I mean, this goes on. And everybody's different. What you may or possibly can take, which is kind of crazy to me, the next person can't. I've been in church my whole life. What about those people who, you ain't gonna get nobody off the street and talk to them sideways. They gonna walk up out of there, and it might get extra. You know what I'm saying? It might just be something that people gonna look and be like, hey, yo, what's going on? Shut up, Brent. Shut up, Brent. Oh my God. So I just wanted to clear the air. When Derek leaves, this being Derek, when I leave a post, a lot of times it's for, if it's something like that, it's to bring attention. I have a weird, unorthodox way to bring the word, as you would say. Some people say, oh, Derek, you so called to preach. You might be right, but the way I do it ain't your way. I bring awareness. I bring something to attention. I spark conversation and dialogue. Read between the lines, y'all. Really slow down. I had to say this to some people. Slow down. Read what I'm saying. Read to understand, not to get defensive. That cognitive dissonance is horrible for some of you. You see one thing, you ready to go to blows. And I'm like,
that's stupid. Use your common sense.
That's all I'll be saying. You just listen. I'm not that person that like to start trouble. When I put stuff out here, it's for you to understand, for you to use that little thing that shakes on top of your head that like a maraca. Use that thing in here that for some reason you turn off on Sundays. Use that thing and think about what I'm saying, as opposed to getting your feelings and getting upset and start jacking and making a fool out of yourself. Because when you talk foolish, you look foolish to everybody else who liked what I said. They understood context. Exactly what I was saying. Everybody is not brain numb. There are some people that understood it, and those people, I applaud you. But some of you, I'm worrying about you because you couldn't read this simple little line and have understanding. And like I said, the most thing, like I said before, was nobody hit my inbox and said, "D, are you good?" Because you're not really ministers. You're just mouth runners. That's all you do. You mouth run. You ain't really about that life. Because if you were, your first inclination would be to reach out to your brother. But you ain't about that life. You just want to be right, which is the reason why we got so many people, including musicians, that don't have no willingness to be with people like you. Because if serving mean I got to deal with people like you, I'd rather not do it. That's what they feel. For real. But I love you. I ain't mad at nobody. I was annoyed because I'm thinking some people, I put this thing out so clear and y'all still miss it. Is this where we at in 2025? With something this simple you can't catch? And even though it may not be you, you just don't think that this exists. It doesn't make them bad that they want money. You still gonna hire them? You can't make this up. But I love you. I just want to jump on here and say this little bit. It's been an hour. Man, I preached longer than some of y'all preachers. No, they still be going. No offense. But I will be going live Monday. I need to talk about some music business. Whew. Oh God, I'm not trying to tick nobody off. I really ain't. I really ain't. I'm gonna stick around for like 2 minutes. I did open a line for somebody to jump on, but I guess nobody wanted to, talk. They just wanted to share it that many times into their own audience and run their mouths. When I got the line open, you don't want to jump on here. If serving you is wrong. Oh my God, really? Really? Really, Reginald? People have tunnel vision view of entertainment, especially in church, because they combine entertainment industry with essence of entertainment. People want to associate the darkest parts of the entertainment industry with anything that they don't believe is authentic and acceptable. And quite frankly, that dreaded word, traditional church presentation, entertainment is the equivalent of music, of a music genre. I agree. I need to have you on here. You and my wife could be on here, and I would just sit back and let y'all just go. I think y'all would have a great conversation. I just mediate. We need to have a talk, Greg, about music business. Maybe I can have you on when I do that show. But I enjoy your perspective, and I agree with you. Like I said, I like it. Bring me all the LED lights, the smoke machines, and everything, but let's just call it what it is. If it's actually entertainment, just say, hey, we all good for that. But don't conflate it. And or don't beat people over their head, pause, when they say what they think it is. Let me scroll up. Could you share it again, Janetta? Babe, could you share it again? I didn't see it. It's so many comments here. And when I get in my preacher mode, sometimes I miss it. Could you share it, please? Plus. How do you navigate from being a musician in church, but creative as a gift that God has given? Um, that's actually a good question. How do you doing both? To be honest with you, you got to learn how to separate what you do at a quote unquote ministry and what you do personally, and you have to be. If I'm on track with you, you have to be able to express that to them, that I am going to be creative outside of this. Like where I play, they understand that I do podcasts, and some of them be like, hey, don't have me on there. I love you. I would never do that to you, sweetheart. But they understand that I am a creative. So yeah, I think you got to let them know and make sure that you're still going to be a creative regardless. So whether you playing in a ministry or you doing your own thing, you're still going to be creative. You're still going to want to have your own music or whatever it is that you are doing. I think it's important to tell the people, whoever is over you, whether it be your MD or whatever, have them heart to heart with them and tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing on the side. And you establish that that boundary is here. And then you do your creative thing. And now, if they say they don't like the stuff that you do, you might have a problem. And I think some of us do run into that, where they don't agree. Some people don't agree with some of the stuff I say here, but I don't attack people personally. When I go with what you say, but I don't attack people personally. So I don't understand why people get so offended. Why we in the day and age where nobody want to be, you know, everybody want to say what they want to say or do what they want to do, and nobody's supposed to say nothing. I don't know why we get there, but yeah, I think that's important for you to establish that boundary and then continue to do what you do. I want to hear some of your work. If you got some stuff, I want to see it. I'm interested. I love creatives. Y'all make my day go by fast when I'm at work because I do have a day job, which is why I don't, when I was there, when I felt like I just wanted to play for money, eventually I just stopped going. I just stopped going. I didn't go. I didn't play anywhere. And then I just luckily, which is weird, I got a call to play at this church called True Holiness Church of God in Christ, a church that I grew up loving when I was a kid. So, and I played there, I filled in for Curtis or Lamar when he was there. Lamar Jones, phenomenal bass player, phenomenal bass player. And I filled in when he wasn't there. I didn't want his job, but I loved playing there. And so when he moved on, they called me. And I can honestly say there and, playing in Powerhouse, over time, I began to have a love for playing at church and quote unquote ministry again. I did experience that burnout. That's why I said this, that seeing people post that, it resonated with me, which led me to and I was mentally, I'm always thinking, there's always something, but yeah, it led me to lead that post. But yeah, I can definitely, those of you who feel that way, I understand. I'm with you. So if you want to hit my inbox, you want to talk, you want to share, please do. I will help you through and help you navigate through this part in your life because I was there with you. I was there with you. I mean, some of you know my story. Y'all watched my live, so y'all know how far out there I got. I got way out there, y'all. Not on drugs and nothing like that, but my mentality, my thinking was out there. Um, I frayed away from playing again due to being both a minstrel and a creative. I understand the discipline, but sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between discipline and being shut up. Yeah. Inbox me where what church you are with because I do know, no offense to my Pentecostal people, but Baptist church is a little bit more liberal. AME churches, they're a little bit more liberal. It be them Pentecostals that go hard at us all the time. They be like, you need to da 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 da. Man, I know some churches still in Gary. You can't play this stuff. You can't play jazz. You can't, and jazz is probably the most expressive music. You can't play jazz. And oh my God, my wife just finished coming off a tour with a major pop artist. Oh, they would have lit her to shreds. They would have lit her to shreds. If she grew up like I did, oh man. Oh man. But that woman probably made more on that tour than all church musicians together. I'm just saying, babe. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, hey, if it's all about the money, let's do that. No, I'm just playing. I'm messing. I'm security. Before I came out, whoa. I need to see your picture. You know me. Wait a minute. Let's talk. I think if the snow let up, I might be at church tomorrow. I'm trying to figure this out, bro. Whoa. Whoa, I think I know you. If you security at Powerhouse, I know you. Man, and I'm horrible with names, but I'm never gonna forget your name. If I'm there tomorrow, let's talk a little bit. Jonathan Ballard says the church is a business. The people are the ministry. Musicians work for the church, not the ministry. In reference to Mrs. Hearne, EST comment. This caught my attention and stuck with me as well, Cinnamon. Okay. How many machines was behind that tour she did? One major one, Brent. That's all that was neat. Man, I can't wait till Monday, dude. I got so much to share with you. My wife did this tour, and I promise you, y'all, I'm going to share some stuff with y'all Monday. If you want to know my thoughts about music business, how I'm looking at it, seeing it, I grew up church. And I know gospel musicians and a few R&B musicians, but I literally had a chance to see how the other side does it, y'all. And I want to talk about it come Monday. I want to talk about it a little bit because it blew my mind. Some of you, my people that play on this major scale, I want you to come on. Let's talk about it. Bring your expertise because, bruh, it blew it blew my mind the way that they go about doing it. I don't want to give it out too much, but I'm going to step on some feet come Monday. I'm sorry, my fellow church artists and churches, but if I can say it, we've been doing this thing wrong. We've been doing it wrong. I love us, and I'm part of you. I can speak on it, dang it. I've been here a longer time. I can speak on it. But we've been doing this not, and the reason why I say we've been doing this wrong, the world should not be more excellent than the way we do it, y'all. They are quote unquote the world. When I grew up, they called them that's the world. But they do things in a way that we still haven't done. And that kind of bothers me. I'm not going to tear us down. I'm a gospel artist. I'm a church musician. I'm not going to rip us up, but I'm certainly going to bring some things to the forefront with the hopes that once you hear it, it will bring about change, redirection, a changing of a mind. We don't have a money, but we can have that mindset. That's the part that I'm thinking about. Yeah, they got money. I saw that. I was like, oh no, this on a whole nother level. I don't think church, unless you playing, and even our top artists don't roll like this. So forget that part of it. But the way they go about doing it, the excellence, everybody being where they're supposed to be, everybody doing what they're supposed to do. Woo! Woo! Oh yeah, it's gonna be one. Y'all tune in Monday. Today was pretty fun. I jumped on because I needed to express something that I shouldn't have to. But Monday's gonna be fun. And yes, the wife will be on Monday. I'm gonna let her just have her way and talk about what she experienced. But I'm there to bring it home to how we can incorporate that level of excellence in our quote unquote ministries, in our churches, in our gospel artists. For those of you gospel artists that are starting off and everything, I want you to watch so you can see how it's done. So when you are there in that position, you can move in a different way that can spark a change and help catapult this thing to a better environment for everybody. For everybody. I've already started to try to incorporate that stuff, try to move in a different way. And hopefully it works out for me. So, whoa, Greg. Okay, Greg, I can't post it because it's going to take up my whole screen, but I will read it. Folks always say church didn't used to be like this. We didn't need all that. Gospel music didn't need all that back in the day. I'll be sitting there like, duh, they didn't need all that, but because it wasn't created yet. But you better believe that it was created, that if it was created, they would have used it. Absolutely. People forget that what we do is an artistic expression. Even if it's for the purpose of ministry, art is a manifestation of a multitude of different influences. Even the godfather of gospel, Thomas Dorsey, a.k.a. Georgia Tom, dealt with criticism shunning from the church just because he incorporated his Southern blues and jazz background to give music a little pop, pep, and soul. Now that's considered to be the foundation of an entire genre. Absolutely. I spoke on this before. You in the house, Greg. What we do is built of the elements from secular aesthetics. I can't see the blare. Blues, jazz, country, folk, song, and some classical. Gospel is just more aggressive expression of this sounds. Found that out. I can't wait to talk about what I experienced on this album with Ron Carter. I can't wait to tell y'all how that went. Um, that's why it's crazy that folks haven't figured out every generation is going to bring something different, and just to give it a little time. If it's whack, it'll fade out. But if it's dope, it'll last. Just chill out. I think CCM is wacky. It's still here. Just playing. Just playing. I'm trying, babe. Uh, with community, with music constantly evolving, do you think some people, aka pastor leaders, get intimidated for the change due to capacity that they? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And it's some of that stuff I don't like. Oh God, do I really want to go here? Let me say it's some stuff I don't like. I think I'm getting used to it, but sometimes it's nerve wracking. Like I don't like when y'all be putting them vocals in the stems that I believe God. It works in some churches, but it don't work at every church. I don't really care for that too much. But if it works, it works. You know, if it works, it works. I put it aside for the greater good. I just don't like that. I definitely don't like that. Everybody dance now. Oh, I hate that. Oh God, just throw that away. That's total trash. Like, dude, like when I see them do that, I'm like, bruh, nah. You say go there? Okay. I don't like when they use stems for instruments that are already playing. I don't like that at all. I did a live about that too a long time ago. I don't like that. And I always joke with my guys, don't ever do that to me. The day you play a bass loop while I'm sitting here, there will be problems. Don't that to me, ugh, I don't like that trend. I don't. Don't ever do that to me. I'm gonna scroll up, babe. Let me see. Uh Wait, where's that, babe? I don't see it. Hold on. Like me to shred is probably one of the best experiences of my time. Lord. Oh, I totally understand being burnt out when it comes to playing multiple churches. And the older we get, the more we learn how to say no to certain situations. I agree. I'm trying to find it, babe. I don't know where it is. Hold on. I can't scroll all the way up. Okay, she said something about church is a business and people are the ministry. I can't remember. Um, Ooh, that's I can't really knock this statement. I mean, I think once somebody did expound on it. Jonathan did. Okay. Um that's actually pretty good. People are the ministry. I can see that. That's pretty good. Somebody can preach that. You better watch that, Cinnamon. People steal messages over here. They do steal messages. Yeah, people can be the ministry. I think the ministry just simply means to serve. That's what minister means, to serve. So I think we serve the people. I think that's why I agree with you. We actually serve people. Our job as ministers is to serve them, to usher, like you said, usher in the spirit or make sure that the service is conducive for worship. I think as a minister, that's what we should be doing. I agree. So church is a business. Whew, you trying to get people mad. I think it takes business to run a church. I think it takes a significant amount of business savvy to run a church, especially in 2025. My idea of church is different from the building. I'm more and less into the ecclesia, or it depends on how you want to say it. I'm more or less into that. I'm being summoned. I'm about to go. Oh, um, watch the dog though. Don't let him come up here. Okay, but I'm more or less into the body of believers. When I say church, I mean the overall body, the body of believers, the bride of Christ. I don't look at a church building being a church. I'll let y'all say that. And I'm not judging you. That's you can do that. But for me, in my house, the church is the ecclesia, the body of believers, the bride of Christ. We're all in this together. We are the body. And one of us can't make it without the other. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I see it. But I'm never going to judge you for you saying you go to church or whatever. So in your instance, is church a business? Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, yes. Let me see. Uh DH, what up, Terrell? What's up, man? Zay. I did a gig with you. It drove tracks into the still, but I was so confused, bro. What gig did you do with me? Zay? You the drum tracks and the stems. I don't know if what gig that was. Let me know what gig that was. That's the problem I have with current church. They can't decide if they want to run it as a business or ministry. That's a whole nother lie, bro. But I think you could do both. I think you could do both. I think you can run a church as a business and a ministry. It takes business savvy to run a church, especially in 2025. We got mega churches everywhere. We got churches with 4 or 5,000 members. I mean, I think you could do both. I think if you are strategic and you are transparent and you are a good leader, you can find a way to do both. Many people have done it. I just get confused with some of us where we try to tell people it's not when it actually operates like one. That's where I get, you know, oh, I just sneezed. Okay, let me see what he's saying. I think the problem with me is that I make music controversial when you hear it. The problem is that I'm not trying to create a disagreement, but bring different footings from different sounds and make them move as one. I wouldn't have a problem with that though. I don't, I think music, I think what we do at church sometimes we try to put music in a box. And I read the comment that said, it comes from Thomas Dorsey and they tried to put him in a box. I feel like the churches that are making the most impact right now, they don't put music in a box. They actually do create music that make you think. They put music that is deemed to be, controversial. They make statements. I don't have a problem with that. But that's me. My mindset is totally different. I grew up in a traditional church, but my mindset ain't traditional. My mindset is just, I'm practical, but I'm not traditional. And I think it's a way, I want us to be more accepting of other people's ideas of music and how it should be expressed in church. I don't think we should be just locked in, oh, that ain't church. It is church. It really is church because my friend Simran said today, the only thing that makes it the world is the lyrics. Because most of them people are using church musicians. What y'all don't know is probably one of the most iconic songs in history, Trapped in the Closet, was played by a church musician. That's a church musician that did that music. And it's probably one of the most iconic R&B songs in the history of R&B. I didn't say I said one of. And a church musician played it. He played his expression of it. But if we play that same, which if you really think about it, it's a church musician chord progression. Really. But if you play that song in Sunday morning some of our churches, you going to get lit up. Me, I'll be like, I like that. Oh, I like all of that. But that's the way I think. I'm sorry, that's just the way I think. But anyway, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna go have me some meals and chill and let it snow, watch some football, and enjoy the rest of what's left of my workless week. I worked from Monday and Tuesday, man. And I feel really, really rejuvenated. I'm happy. I'm not a angry person. I've been very happy. I had a moment this week, but I'm okay now. I'm okay. But anyway, I'm gonna jump off here. Wait, that's why my favorite group is Sparky. Sparky? And the best album is the Metropole Orchestra. And to add Jacob Collier. I love Jacob Collier. R. Kelly got his sign for Rodney East. That's the gospel musician. church musician, Rodney East. I met Rodney East in church. I didn't meet him playing for R. Kelly. So, I want us to be better and I want us to do better. But most importantly, I want us to listen to each other and always be quick to listen and, let's give people some grace that we reward ourselves. That's all I want. That's all I want from all of you. And I don't have any enemies. If they enemies, they don't like me. But I don't have enemies right now. I'm actually pretty good. I don't want to run nobody over with my car these days. So I feel really, 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 really great about everything. If you missed this live, go scroll up. I'm pretty sure somebody shared it. And I hope they do. And I hope it blesses you. What's up, Line? I hope it blesses you. But I will see you guys Monday. Snarky Puppy, thank you. Meat No Nothing for saying Meat No Nothing for saying that. He said Sparky. I was like, Sparky? Who is Sparky? Okay, I was thinking in my brain, was he saying Snarky Puppy? And he just got auto-corrected by Siri with her old Siri be tripping. Siri be tripping. Y'all got me smashing. Siri be Trinell. Turn up. That's my dude, man. This dude can play too. But I'm going to get off of here, y'all. I'll see y'all Monday. Y'all have a great, great rest of your day, okay? Take care.